Yeah, just kicked off.
So what I was talking about is the nutrition challenge. You're using, for us now, we use these protocols as like just to fine tune your skills, to add more tools to your toolbox. So you need to kickstart it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the way we do it is we want people to focus on one thing, because we have that longer outlook like you do, like 1 to 2 years. 1 pound lost a week. That's sort of average.
Right.
But it's like, okay, try intermittent fasting at different windows and whatnot for 3 months.
But if Mark's talking to the masses, he's always been like building like that super team of like, all right, you get hurt, go see Ian the chiro, you get tweaked here, this or that. For you, he was like, oh my gosh, if we could only get like a nutritional expert to come and talk to a client that's like struggling with intermittent fasting. Like I just read it, YouTubed it, but they don't have the time or focus really to get the positive benefit results of it.
So this is where I think I know what you're getting at, because this is where I have trouble kind of articulating. It's like I want people to follow along and do FixFit type of things, right? And if you're not you can't do it on your own, then you definitely need the assessment or coaching.
Right.
So if because Darel came to me, but he's doing fine. He's working out daily. The kickbacks you shown him for your back surgery, everything's working well. But let's say someone that has tried doing some kickbacks, oblique stuff, pistons, or whatever they've tried, but they're still not there yet. I think the coaching and the assessments or whatever the guidance is then needed.
Yeah,
because
and it's the same thing with what I'm doing. I've got it's the online education, right? So you've got this whole coursework that you do. It's almost like a little university, right? So university on what you should be doing from a health standpoint, and we include, getting your head right, getting your mindset right. We include, some physical fitness stuff, but it's all high level. We want people to, hey, look, when you get to the point where you've been walking and you've gotten your weight down, or maybe you're already working out, we want them to go to guys like you, Mark, and we want, if you're having back problems or neck problems or whatever, you should go see a chiropractor. What we're trying to do is teach people really why. Why do you want to do this? Because it's much different when you think, hey, look, I'm doing this because I want to lose weight and I want to look good. Because we're a very vain society, right? So a lot of people will jump into it, I want to lose weight and I want to look good. It isn't until you get sick and you get slapped in the head and you have a chronic disease. And even then, some people just don't wake up and realize that, oh, this is what I'm eating. You know what I mean? Oh, I can take this medication, it makes me feel a little better. But really, what that medication usually is doing is making things even worse. Because there aren't many medications out there that aren't tearing up your microbiome inside of your gut, which is kind of the source of all the inflammation in the first place.
Right.
And it's interesting, and this is in my healthy gut course, is that what happens is our bodies have an amazing ability to filter toxins, right? So if we're eating a normal whole foods diet and we're eating primarily organic, we're going to filter out that little bit of Roundup that gets in our food supply. We're going to filter out that little bit of whatever toxin or whatever's in our food, right? But when we are just slamming our bodies, slamming our gut with everything we eat has pesticides on it. Everything we eat is loaded with omega-6s because we're eating industrialized meats. Then our microbiome gets to the point where it's like this army that's being overrun. The walls are being overrun on the castle, basically, and it can't do it anymore. It can't filter the toxins. The toxins start getting into the body. They start getting in the bloodstream, and inflammation starts happening. People get allergies. People get, people's bodies react in different ways.
Yeah.
But it's all inflammation. So if we focus on healing that microbiome and getting back to eating the foods that feed the microbiome instead of destroy it, that's where things get huge. And that's kind of where my journey kind of came to an end, was getting to that point, understanding that. But everything along that, you talk about all the things you guys have tried at your gym, right? I tried paleo. I tried everything along the way, right? And what I came up with, in the end, if you really look at my lifestyle program and you were to compare it to any diet out there, it's closest to paleo. But it's not paleo because we let you have grains. Not that we let you, we say you can. It's really up to you. You can choose not to eat grains. If you're gluten intolerant or you have celiac, don't eat gluten. If you are lactose intolerant, don't eat dairy.
Let's talk about organic, because everyone has arguments that some organic, or is it even a big deal? Is there a big difference between organic and non-organic?
So I let people. I like to again educate people on why, and then let them make their own decision on that, right? So
because I really don't know.
Okay.
I know
All
that
right, so,
the purpose of organic is less pesticides, but there's enough like counter articles saying like they use organic pesticides, so it's the same shit. They just sell it in a different way, kind of like free range chickens. They'll have them cooped up.
Let's talk about that after we talk about organic.
Yeah. Let's debunk some of the shit that people want to know.
So USDA organic, right? And
is there a different organic?
Are two different things.
Wait a second. So how does it say USDA?
What I brought you today is organic.
Yeah.
Right? Because I grew it myself in my garden. I know what's on those leaves.
Okay.
I had to put some stuff on to make sure there's not aphids, but it's neem oil and it's organic soap, basically. Those are the pesticides that are used.
I'm eating soap. You're gonna kill them.
But it all washes off with just water.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's in its organic, like it's an organic soap used for
But that's not
farming.
USDA, obviously.
But it's not because I didn't pay to get it certified. That's why it's not USDA. So I'm using two things that are allowed under USDA organic to be used, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that are allowed to be used, right? And they're not as damaging as pesticides, but they still, you still got to rinse off your food because you don't want to eat like neem oil. What it does is it actually breaks down the shell on like the aphids and stuff, right? That try to eat at your lettuce and your leafy greens and stuff. You don't want that going into your stomach. But the good news is it rinses off. The glyphosate that's in Roundup, it's in the soil, it's in the leaves, it's in the actual produce. So
you can't wash that shit off.
You can't wash that shit off.
Oh.
And and it's highly toxic. Now they'll say, oh well, there's only trace amounts that won't hurt your body. Well, yeah, in that apple there's only trace amounts. But what about in the other 10 things you ate today that all have it in it?
The total amount for everything you ate on that plate might be a little bit more than trace now.
And glyphosate is categorized as an antibiotic. So if you think about that,
glyphosate, I've never even heard of that. What the hell is
it's Roundup. It's the core ingredient in Roundup, right?
Okay.
It was derivative from Agent Orange during Vietnam. So Monsanto is the Agent Orange company.
Okay.
Right? They needed something else to do with their product after the war was over and after Agent Orange got outlawed as a weapon that could be used. Right? So they changed a couple things with it, tweaked it a little bit, and made it a pesticide.
Oh shit.
And actually, it is registered and categorized as an antibiotic. Now, I want to kind of...
And that shit's on everything.
We talked about how important your microbiome is in your gut, right? Your gut health, how important that is, and how you've got all of these bacteria, good and bad, inside your gut doing different things, doing different functions. And they are literally your army of defense against outside toxins and whatever else your body has to fight off, right? If you take 1 dose of Augmentin, which is a commonly prescribed antibiotic, 1 dose, it kills 90% of all the bacteria in your gut. Right? So if you're eating an antibiotic on almost all your produce, it's in your processed foods. You know what I mean? It's in your meat, because the cow or the pig or the chicken or whatever ate stuff that has food that had Roundup in it, right? So it's literally in everything people are eating, and that's why Monsanto and Bayer, which Bayer bought them, right? They've settled like 2 or 3 multi-billion-dollar lawsuits that they've been blamed for cancer.
Have you guys? You probably have. Have you seen Food Inc?
No,
I have it.
Don't want to terrify myself.
It's the scariest movie. It's like
it is, especially if you're a farmer.
It's so scary because there's no a spoiler alert, but it ends with like no hope. Like, sorry.
Yeah, it totally does. Right? But there is some hope. So
where's the
some
hope?
people say,
there's the hope, Darel.
Well, there's blowover on the organic farm from the non-organic. Okay, yeah, maybe there is.
Yeah.
Okay, but at least that's blowover that's just hitting the leaves and whatnot. You can rinse most of that off.
It's not in its molecular structure.
And when we talk about like a GMO, right? Because most of what you're getting that's not organic is GMO now, because they have to build them.
That's scary shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's designed to resist that Roundup, right? And it's an engineered product, and we really don't know what effect it has on our body, because the FDA doesn't really protect us from this stuff. The food companies really have free reign to do what they want to do. It's up to the food company to decide whether they think what they're doing is dangerous to the public. And if they think it is, then they have to test it and get FDA approval. Otherwise, they don't even have to get approval. And so it's, as long as it's categorized as a food product, right? Medications are different, but the biggest thing to protect yourself so that's the bad part about not eating organic, right? That's the really bad part.
What if it's
the other thing is
it's too expensive to eat organic?
So that's good. You led me right into my next part, right? So let's talk about the advantages of organic then, and we'll talk about the expense, right? So the advantage of eating organic is now, because let's take an apple, all right? If I take an organic apple and a conventionally grown apple, right? That conventional apple was probably picked before it was ripe. Okay, it was then irradiated inside. It had been subject to chemicals. It was then irradiated inside of to get it to ripening, right? Which is almost like microwaving it, kind of, in a way. And then there's this organic apple that was picked fresh. It's all good to go, the way Mother Nature intended. Now, this organic apple is loaded with phytonutrients, right? Thousands of phytonutrients are inside of that apple that help you not only to digest the apple, but to absorb all the vitamins and minerals. And the phytonutrients themselves strengthen your cell walls. And phytonutrients, in the last 10 years, they've kind of shown that phytonutrients and strengthening cell walls are key to cancer prevention. Okay? Now, we take that conventional apple. That conventional apple, most of the phytonutrients have been killed in it. They're not alive anymore. So there's no benefit to them, right? Most of the nutrients in that apple are dead. So if I take my organic apple, and let's just call the organic apple $1.25 for that apple, and let's call this conventional one $1, because that's about what the difference usually is, right? But the organic one has 80% more nutrition in it than this one. What are we buying when we buy an apple? Are we buying calories, or are we buying nutrition? Right? We're buying nutrition. So at $1 for 20% the amount of nutrients, or for 80% less nutrients on the conventional apple, which one's really cheaper?
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot more nutrition out of this organic apple for a fourth more of the price. Right? So and then what we do too is we take people through, like, I've got a budgeting class too in my courses. We take people through, like, how do you really shop? How can you do it for the same cost?
The hard part is how you going to get that to the masses, to a mom of 4 kids that's about to make a Costco run real quick.
Right.
With her 1 hour of free time, whatever. That's the struggle, is that she would go, I don't care, $1.25, like, she's gonna grab that bulk thing. So it's almost up to a Costco to be like, please, like, they make it so simple, like a green label.
Right.
I
love the green labels at
that's
Costco.
freaking awesome.
I walk into Costco and all I do is walk to green labels.
Thank God, yeah. Why aren't, like, other stores doing that, right? Because they're like, let's make it simple for that mom. Grab the green one.
Actually hard
I mean,
to do.
Whole Foods doesn't even make it that easy,
No.
which is amazing, right? Like Whole Foods. Now, Jimbo's, which I like here in San Diego, because everything's organic unless they label it not organic, and it's a big red, like, conventional or whatever, right?
It makes it easy at Jimbo's. Everything's pretty much organic.
Right. But that's not budget friendly.
I use that same example, so I posted about it, and I'm open to discuss about it. It's one of those things that we need to talk about, is cancer. So my mom I've openly expressed and talked to people. We did the Chris Beats Cancer type thing. We did juicing. Everything had to be organic, the whole deal. And then she had her surgery. And then so I told my mom, like, are you still eating and juicing and all that? And she's bringing over, like, berries and stuff and whatnot. I'm like, this isn't organic. What are you doing? She was like, wait, I have to still eat organic? And I was like, yeah, you do. Because, you still need to combat it, and it's not that you're cleared yet. You have to be clear for 5 years to be in remission, the whole deal. Wow. And I used the same example because I just met with you that day.
Right.
And I used the exact same analogy. I was like, you only get 80% of the nutrients from this food, because she told me the same excuse. It's so much more expensive to eat that way.
Yeah, well, how much was the juicing costing? You told me once.
Oh, it had to be expensive.
It's a lot. Because it was daily juicing.
Right, daily
and you
juicing.
need, the way that, like, I think the protocol is like 40 ounces of juice we didn't go that because my mom's like 89 pounds, right? But imagine the cost of that.
Yeah.
But then it's like the couple of examples, right? Because how do you it's more about the education and you relate it. I mean, these two. One is like what Darel was talking about. Like you just get more nutrients from the organic produce that you purchase and fruits. And the other thing is what I told you is like the surgery and everything for colon cancer and all that was over $300,000.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God she
So
had insurance and had to pay
that's the thing that people don't understand too, is that
yes,
okay,
now it's saving a couple bucks, but God forbid something happens and then it's like
you're investing in yourself, your family, and your future.
Yeah.
If you're so yeah, I mean there is no way to get it. There are ways to get it to be about the same cost, but you got to kind of go to the extreme like I did, where I grow all my grains, right? I grow almost all my vegetables myself. And I've got I'm an engineer by trade, right? So I've got an automated system down. I don't have to spend a lot of time on it. I do teach people about
engineers.
that too, if they want to know.
Totally with this coffee.
If they want to know what, how I'm doing that, I gladly teach people because I love sharing it. But it makes juicing a lot cheaper when you can just go out and pick your own kale out of your garden.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But
the resources.
Otherwise, there isn't a way. I mean, we teach people go to the farmer's market, go late right before they close. Farmers don't want to take the stuff back home.
Yeah,
they'll discount the price. Tell them you're on a budget. You're trying to eat healthy. They'll oftentimes give you a little bit of a break. It's. You can go to Costco. Costco's huge. Costco's been a huge cost saver on my bill. We get a lot of our. I don't grow my fruit.
What, 2 kids or 3?
I got 3 kids.
3 kids, yeah. So
3 kids.
Family
and,
5.
And my daughter is like the fruit queen. She's like a little fruit princess. She
That's
eats
Mark's
nothing
nickname.
but it's
Fruit queen?
It's like
it's on my singlet.
if I get Costco, you get the organic strawberries, right?
Yeah.
The organic blueberries. I can bring home like 3 of those things of each. They're gone in like 2 days.
Let's talk about this then. Fruit sugars, because as you get into the world of keto, paleo, and all the bro science on those things, and then macros, right? Sugar's just sugar to your body. So I learned that in a couple different certifications and whatnot. So from what I learned through the cancer world, like the fruit sugar and regular processed sugar is not the same.
They're not the same. A calorie is not a calorie.
That we know, but people think that because you take you eat a banana, it's like
it's processed differently.
And that,
your body
so you got to touch on that because people don't understand that.
Even if you're like, so I'll have I've had some people. I mean, a lot of the people that I've helped out have been diabetic or pre-diabetic, right? So we get careful when we talk about like a juice cleanse or something like that, and make sure that you're not putting too much fruit in, because then you're just putting the juice in, which is different than eating the apple. I'll use the apple a lot just because it's easy to keep going back to it. And apples have a lot of sugar in them, right? But if I eat an apple versus if I have let's say I have an apple and I've got a Snickers bar, both of them have about the same amount of sugar, right? I have 2 apples and a Snickers bar, half a Snickers bar. Which one is going to metabolize better? That if I eat that Snickers bar, that sugar's going straight to my bloodstream like that, and it's going to spike my insulin, right? And I'm going to get that insulin response. It's going to slow down my metabolism. It's going to slow down any fat burning or stop any fat burning, right? If I eat an apple, I don't know if you guys, I heard this once and I didn't know if I believed it, so I did a bunch of digging in it, and the science is there. Eating an apple is a negative caloric event. An apple has about 80 calories, and the energy that it takes to chew the apple up to the point where you should swallow it, and the digestive process to process the amount of sugar in the apple is a negative calorie.
I heard that for celery before.
Yeah.
People are so afraid. Like I tell my members, like, where have we gone wrong? Where society to this day are so afraid of fruit. Like we've gone so far that like when the paleo, the keto community is like, oh my god, a banana.
That's what I wanted to
kill you. Here's my thing. Fruit's expensive. That's why I don't eat as much of it as I eat.
But it's not because of the health issue.
No, it's what I mean. You want to eat the rainbow, number one, right? There's phytonutrients in all fruits and vegetables, and that's what I try to break things down to get people to think about is when I look at a piece of kale, when I look at an apple, a berry, whatever it is, I want the phytonutrients is what my body really wants. I want the taste. I want it to taste good. That's another reason why I like organic better, because I don't know if you get used to eating organic and you pick up a conventional apple, Someone can label it organic, and you can tell the minute you bite into it. You're like,
Right.
oh no, this doesn't have taste.
Yeah.
It just doesn't taste the same. So if you're eating the rainbow of all of these different things, you can, as an adult, you could probably eat too much fruit. You know what I mean? If you really went crazy and you became a fruitarian and that's all you were eating.
Right,
you know what I mean?
The juices could be
as a child, probably not, because they just burn the stuff off, right?
Really quick.
But in action, and that's why, like, my kids, they can eat all the fruit they want to eat. I'm fine with it. I just have to keep funding their habit. But like my wife and I, we eat I call it my big ass salad every day. You know what I mean? You get the keto book. It was just funny. I was like, hey, that's mine. Like I was listening to the keto book. I'm like, that's my saying. You know what I mean? So it's like like at least either for dinner or for lunch, I have a huge salad. And I change it up. I've got different stuff from my garden. I can pick stuff direct from my garden. If I'm out and I'm traveling, I'll just find somewhere and get
travel's hard too.
A good salad.
Here's my thing though: is like the information is so out there. Like going back to what Mark just asked, like I'll give an example. My father-in-law, he's like 60, just turned 60, right? And I was like, you should probably switch from like eating. He has toast like every morning, and I'm like, you're probably safer eating eggs. And then he, like zero education on this kind of stuff, and he just goes like, I mean, like, what, 2 years ago they told me to stop eating eggs. Now you're telling me to eat eggs? He's like, who the hell knows then, right? And I'm like, this is true. So when people are looking for a quick fix, he's like, I'm not looking for a quick fix. I'm measuring to be healthy according to my blood work or whatever. I'm just going to keep eating freaking toast every morning. Like, I don't care what you say because in 2 years you're going to tell me to stop eating it. So I was like, here's the thing for someone like that. If they get approached by a health coach that's saying like, all right, let's start eating organic. And then health coach B walks in and says, I have a shake and a strip for you to take instead. How are you going to differentiate yourself from them?
And that's the problem, is that it's, especially the I've got a shake type stuff, right?
Which is freaking out there still.
It's out there, and
it's getting worse.
I have a couple supplements that I recommend.
Yeah, we talked about this.
For a jump start.
Right.
But that's it. I mean, because you like literally haven't eaten, if you haven't been eating the fruits and vegetables and all that stuff, it's good to get some extra supplementation to get yourself kicked over and going. Sure. But it is not the long-term thing that you need to be doing.
You're preaching education behind it.
We want to educate people because it's not, and you want to talk about expensive. You think it's expensive to buy organic fruit? Buy some of these MLM products that people are selling.
That's what I'm talking
meal
about.
Replacements.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
this is what I'm getting at.
That stuff, it's ridiculous.
What's different than this and Slim Fast?
And what
like
happens
10 years ago?
what happens when you quit taking that?
Exactly.
Right, and are you really getting all the nutrients? Because you're not getting all those nutrients.
Well, they would just tell you
the same as the apple, right?
They would tell you to renew your membership.
And people, and people think, oh, like I want these vitamins. Well, yeah, vitamins are great, but most of us in the health community know what happens with most of the vitamins we take. They just come right back out. Mm-hmm. Only a certain amount gets absorbed. But when you eat a piece of fruit or a piece of vegetables or whatever, it's the perfect food. It's what we're designed to eat. So it's got all those extra things, all those extra phytonutrients and all the minerals and all that stuff. And that's why soil comes in really important too, right? Like you talk about the organic thing, like we've killed the soil on the conventional side. There's microbes in the soil that help us digest and help us absorb our nutrients. So it's very important. Like on the meat side, which we should talk about on the free range and all that stuff. But I try to buy my meat from farmers that I've met. And I look for ones that do regenerative farming, not sustainable, but regenerative. They're actually making the soil better. Because as you make the soil better, you get better microbes, and you want to eat that stuff.
Right.
Because this is like the extreme, in my opinion, because it's like, I say it's extreme where like you're just seasoned at it, right? So you didn't go from AFib and then, watching videos and podcasts to where you're at now with. So it's like there's got to be like baby steps, right?
It was a whole scientific process on my own body.
You gotta experiment. That's why you work with us in the FixFit process, is that Mark doesn't go when a member comes up to him and says, I broke my back because I was gone last month and I was traveling. Mark doesn't go, well, it's because you weren't at the gym, so you might want to renew your membership. And Mark goes like, let's look at it. Why are you moving incorrectly? This or that. Ask questions, and then the education comes next, and then they have to go apply it. So that's what I was trying to get at. The MLM people are like just here's your solution. Oh, it doesn't work. Well, you should just buy another one because.
No, and I get it. I see it all the time because, like I said, I do have that one product, so I'm in their network.
Right.
And they
What's
while
the
I
product?
believe it's Juice Plus.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever heard, but it's it is actually it's made out of whole fruits and vegetables. They basically take it's certified to be free of chemicals, which is actually beyond USDA organic. It's better than USDA organic. But the bottom line is that they take it, they cold press it, and then they dry it into a powder form, and then they put it in capsules or gummies for kids. And it's actually one of the most researched products out there. There's like you should look at the website and look at all the scientific documents that have been
like
done.
You said, it's used for
studies.
a kickstart.
But I use it for a kickstart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I have like a subscription to it for the family, but we don't actually even take it necessarily every day.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, all right, I'm going to be traveling. I'm feeling a cold coming on.
Right.
Like it's a boost. You know what I mean?
Right.
And for people that haven't done anything their whole lives and they're dealing with all this inflammation in their body, it's a good kickstart to get them going. Because it also there's one scientific paper in there that by taking it helps to change your palate too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, and get your body used to eating better.
That's part of the reset process.
The long term, we want people to just eat whole foods. It's like taking a fish oil supplement, right? I take a fish oil supplement because I feel like it helps my joints. It's probably all up here because I eat so many omega-3s in my regular diet. I probably really don't need it. But, I feel like I notice a few weeks after I stopped taking it, so I still take it. But talking about like all of these marketing things, right? Like you talk about like free range, cage free. What are some of the other ones when it comes to chicken? Grass fed, grass finished. There's a lot of marketing terms out there, and people really struggle to know what is what, right? And I learned something interesting just about grass fed just last summer when I was in Hawaii, because I've always been like, ever since I learned about eating grass fed, I've been it's a grass fed burger. I'll eat the grass fed burger. You know what I mean? And then I learned in Hawaii, there's a law that all the cattle that are grown and grass fed in Hawaii have to be shipped to the United States, grain finished for a month, slaughtered, and then the meat comes back.
Is it still labeled as grass fed?
It's still labeled as grass fed.
Why do they do that?
I'm guessing because there's some weird political lobbyist law. It's a domestic thing, right?
Oh, so now it's domestic because it's not. We're on our land eating for a month.
It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
Because now you've taken this animal that's ate what Mother Nature's intended for its entire life, and a month before slaughter. Now, first of all, you put it on a ship or something to get it there, so it's stressing it out. They're probably tranking them, right? They're probably loading them up with stuff, and then it's going to the United States, and now it's eating a grain diet. What happens when cows eat a grain diet is they become highly inflamed.
Yeah, right before they slaughtered for you to eat.
So this animal that's high, that's got the perfect 4-to-1 omega-6 to omega-3 balance by nature, which it's actually people like, well, there's more omega-6 than omega-3. Yeah, it's a 4-to-1, right? Now it's probably more like a 12-to-1. Right, so you're loading up. So the omega-6s are acidic to your body, right? Where the omega-3s help balance them out, and now you're eating this meat that's essentially acidic for you, plus hormone-free and antibiotic-free. USDA standard for hormone-free and antibiotic-free means that they can't be fed hormones or antibiotics unless they've been given a veterinarian prescription. And they can't have any antibiotics or hormones 3 days before slaughter. That makes it hormone and antibiotic free.
Right.
Right.
This right now is like, you're not helping the cause, Darel. This is fooding.
This is fooding to.
Fooding to.
I'm serious,
Stop saying
man.
slaughtered, man.
No, but it's like, okay, so we're.
It's hurt my heart.
It's like, yeah, and cage free and all that stuff. That's all just a bunch of hocus pocus.
But like, okay, so now turning it around to something positive and usable for a general person that's like, oh fuck, we're doomed, might as well just end it with a nice run of Kit Kats and stuff, But then what do you recommend in terms of, since it's already so like Monsanto and all that, and even though it's labeled grass fed and organic, like you don't even know anymore, so how do you start, because if you are at that level, you're already going to farmers market and all that. It's hard to make that huge transition, especially like you're saying with kids and find. It's
So you can save a lot of money by going to the farmers market, because it doesn't have to be USDA organic. It just needs to be organically produced. So you go, you look your farmer in the face. You maybe even take a tour of their farms. I mean, Primal Pasture is one of my favorite places up in Marietta. I get almost all my meat from there, except for bison. They don't have that one, but I get and fish. I get like pork, lamb, beef from there. I get my eggs from there now that they're doing pasture eggs. I love their chicken. It's really good. It's all pasture raised chicken, but it's so expensive. I don't even buy it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But you know, it is more expensive. But number one, and these guys up there will even tell you, balance it out by not eating as much meat, number one, because we all eat too much meat anyway in American society, right? So Americans eat way more meat than we're supposed to, usually about 2 to 3 times what your serving size should really be in a meal. So you can eat a little less meat, and just by doing that, you kind of balance out the price thing, right?
I think the two different things is this is a good segue into like ultimate health. Mm-hmm. Like you're training your exercise for health versus performance.
Well, let me talk about those labels though first, so that people kind of know what people that are listening, you know what they should be getting, what they should look for, and what they should shop for. So you want grass-fed and grass-finished, or 100% grass-fed.
I don't think I've seen any of those anywhere.
Sprouts actually has it. Okay, so it's a new label. I just started seeing it in like the last 3 months. That way people know, and even like Burger Lounge, who, you know, they've got their grass-fed burger, they even put now 100% grass-fed burger. So it's not a industry type standard term though. So it's, again, coming back and researching who you're talking to and making sure they have the right ethics and everything else, right? Pasture-raised eggs. You want to dig into what that farm's actually feeding them outside the pasture, if anything. Are they truly pasture raised? If you get a dozen eggs and they're all brown and they're all perfectly the same size, they're all about the same shade of brown, they're feeding them something else besides what they get on the pasture, because there's no way they'd all be uniform, because each chicken's walking around the pasture in a different area and they're eating different things and their eggs are going to come out different every day. Right, it might be white one day, blue the next day, you know, brown the next day. It just depends on what they're eating. So like I get these eggs and they're like all different colors. It's, you know, it's almost like it's Easter Sunday with, you know, pastels or something. But those are true eggs, truly, you know, pasture raised eggs, and they taste, they're really rich. They taste really good. So when it comes to chicken, is the hardest thing to find clean meat. I mean, you can find grass-fed, grass-finished beef. You can find, and it's actually readily available now at Sprouts and Whole Foods, and even Costco has it. What's hard to find is clean chicken, because everyone looks into the cage-free labels, the organic, and organic doesn't mean anything when it comes to chicken. It just means it was fed organic feed. Chickens, you know, and you'll see like organic vegetarian-fed chicken. Well, I have news for you. Chickens aren't vegetarians, right? So they're not eating what they're supposed to eat. Oh. And when an animal eats what it's not supposed to eat, its meat becomes toxic. Its meat becomes very acidic, I'd say. It becomes high in omega-6s. And then we eat that amount of omega-6s, and it throws our bodies out of balance. So you want to, organic is better than not organic, right? When it comes to produce, organic is better than not organic. Just make sure you rinse it off, and you should be fine. But if you really want to save money, go to the farmer's market, find the farmer that's using organic practices.
And you have to eat it within 2 to 3 days from it, because
you usually got to eat it pretty quickly.
Farmer's market, yeah.
It depends, unless you want to grow it yourself, and if you do, I mean,
just go every week. It's a nice getaway.
Too bad I eat all the food stands. It's not.
Yeah.
It was going back to like, was it your dad was?
Oh, my father-in-law.
Your father-in-law. Yeah. So it's like same thing now, isn't it trippy? Where it's like, well, chicken was known to be a white meat, lean meat, and that's where the health and fitness world is all about lean meats.
Everyone eats their chicken breast. I mean, I grew up doing the same thing, right? Yeah.
Chicken breast diet, chicken breast and broccoli.
Or chicken thighs healthier.
And that's kind of the same thing where it's like with FixFit, and you have to be able to be open for new information. And even in our gym before, we were all about mobility WODs, and we would do all these like SMR techniques and stretches, and it's like people were like, well, we used to do that, we used to deadlift this way, and it's like you just have to be receptive and open to take in more knowledge, because once you change the mindset is like, you know, not to be overwhelmed with all this knowledge and all the changes, is just learn a little bit or make a minor adjustment and try it out, right? Just because I said that, you know, activation's better than mobility for you, or SMR, well, you should test it out. It's like nutrition. If someone tells you keto is better for you than paleo, then you have to practice it like a skill and see if it's see how your body reacts to it. And every time anyone approaches me with a supplement or nutrition, and it's the same thing I do with FixFit, it's like you have to try this for...
How many times have I told you I can't fast? Like, especially when I come to this, my job, it's physical, and by like 11 a.m. I'm like shaking. I cannot make that 1 o'clock, and it's like you have to be too physical, be way too on in the morning, and I can't be relying on caffeine as my main source of, you know, so I have a nice breakfast, and I'm like way better. Not starving, shaking by lunchtime, and it's like... But fasting for the next person, and a lot of people I've talked to, way better results than I ever have to do. And they get the cognitive benefits of it. And I'm like, well, that works for you. It didn't work for me. And it's like, who cares? We both experimented and found out what worked for ourselves. And that's huge.
That's why there's no one-size-fit-all protocol, even for FixFit, right?
Yeah.
If you have the exact same symptoms of knee pain or shoulder pain, there's not a set protocol of drills to do.
Right.
But there are better things you should try, right? Yeah. That we've seen success. And then that's kind of the approach. It's like, just because some people like fasting doesn't mean like we have to ram it down your throat and be like, Ian, you must fast. It's worked for these 10 people. Or it's worked for all these people.
Or you're doing it.
And
you must be doing it wrong.
And you can adjust your times too of it. You know what I mean? Like I can't. I'm like I got to get up, and I can't even go work out without having something first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even when I tried keto and like you know, and trying, I can't do it. You know what I mean? I got to eat a banana before I go work out, or I'm hungry when I'm working out, and then my mind the whole time is on is wanting to get done with my workout to go eat.
Yeah.
You know, so I eat a banana and I'm good. You know what I mean? And then I come home and I'll either
so
drink
much sugar though.
Yeah.
That's a good segue, because
I'm gonna burn it off like that though. You know, like
Mark and I, we've experimented with fruits before workouts too, and we found, like, Bob and I, what we like. I like tangerines
and orange,
and then Bob and I would get sick from a banana. But Daryl's right here saying, like, a banana before meat, great.
That's my go-to. If I'm out of bananas, like the other day I was out of bananas, I grabbed a peach, and I was like, the peach did the same thing.
Dude, but that's so... I mean, maybe it's mental for me. I grabbed a nectarine, and I was like, it's not as good as the tangerine. He does honey, straight up. What's his name? Pinot said you should always eat, especially for performance-wise, eat for what you're about to do for the next, 30 minutes, he said?
It's because...
Eat for what you're going to do for the next 2 hours or whatever. So if you're about to go take a nap, maybe some chicken and rice, but like if you're going to go work out, maybe a sugar.
It's just his whole thing is he's all about the gut flora. I mean, it's getting a little out there, but you're supposed to view food as fuel.
Right.
And that principle makes sense because...
Yeah, from our performance side.
Even CrossFit, the CrossFit is you're supposed to eat enough to feel activity.
Right.
Like that's CrossFit's protocol in terms of nutrition, not to store fat. Which makes sense. Those are just simple life principles.
In certain things, you know, your digestive system itself has a big factor on how much energy you have, right? So if you eat something heavy before going to work out, like you eat like a burger, you're probably not going to have as much performance because your stomach, like animal proteins are the hardest things for your gut to break down, right? So your gut's working really hard. So even like, you know, like my kids, they play soccer, and you know they're competitive about it, and we'll be like, all right, well, before a game, like if they have like a 1 o'clock game and there's like lunch and they're hungry, we'll do like pound a smoothie with like, you know, some you know, vegan protein powder that's clean or something in there, and give them some protein, but it's something they can break digest easier, and it's not going to slow down their system. Then after that, then load up with the
you don't need to do anything
and
anymore.
things like that. Yeah,
exactly.
And then it's recovery, right? Yeah. Like eat that other stuff to recover.
So here's a good example, Darel. You had L4, L5 disc surgery, right?
Yes.
When you went to physical therapy for that, what kind of diet were you on at that point?
So I was at that point in my life, I was eating what I do now. I mean, so for about the last 6 years, I've been eating, you know, my what I just call it a whole foods plant-based diet with clean meats, basically, right? So I'm eating Lots of greens, fruits, vegetables. I eat. I have at least one serving of an animal protein a day, be it beef, chicken, eggs, whatever. Usually 2 though. So usually like lunch and dinner.
Did physical therapy ever go over that kind of stuff with you? Like, hey, how are you recovering? Where your how can we get your inflammation levels down?
I don't think anyone goes over that with
No.
you.
Yeah.
No, I mean that was all stuff that I understood though, and knew. And,
luckily for you, but
and I also understood that the pain pills were something I didn't want to be on because it was actually going to make, while it might make the inflammation around the area of my, that might make that less, it's going to create other types of inflammation in my body, and that's not something that I wanted. So,
how long ago was that surgery too?
That was it was a year ago. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a year ago last June. Yeah, it was last June.
That's how you guys connected, right?
Yeah, I mean
shortly after. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, my chiropractor wasn't taking my insurance anymore, and she moved to Solana Beach, or actually Leucadia. So I was looking for something closer, someone that took my insurance, and that's how we met.
And then I gave him kickbacks for his glutes to fire.
It was 4 or 5 months after my surgery, I think, when I started.
Really?
Seeing
Wow.
I think it was because I was really sketchy about going to a chiropractor and getting adjusted.
That's what
that.
That's what we went over. Like, hey, if you had disc repair, there's no need to keep thrusting and rotating on that disc. But like, where are your glutes at? Are you working on these? And your workouts were good, but they just were lacking intent on glutes and core. Well, your core is still getting fired, but pecs are what we're trying to get over now, and whatever else you guys assessed recently.
Right, and the interesting thing is that the kickbacks, the bird pickers, those things. So I never, I've been the typical guy when it comes to working out at the gym. Like, if I'm gonna skip a day, I'm skipping legs day. Now I've got this like new thing in my head. Like, no, go to the gym, work out like a girl. You know what I mean? Like, women never skip leg day. You know what I mean? Like, I can skip upper body day here and there. That's not gonna kill me. But if I really because I love to hike, and I'm an avid hiker, and I'll tell you what, since I've been doing that stuff, since I'm developing my glutes more, and it's like I don't even have to exert myself as hard. Yeah. It's like the muscles are just.
You can literally feel yourself propel up the hill instead of.
Now the stuff he gave me, now I just feel
Yeah, what'd you guys go over? What did you find weak on Darel?
It's that whole.
Tell us all of it.
Yeah.
Tell us where Darel's weak.
It's just that baseline assessment, right? Where it's
finding your obliques.
It's the same process where it's not really like, hey, come in and I'm going to show you this thing. It's honest conversation about, let's see what we can figure out, tracing the history, right? That's the starting point of maybe what potentially attributed to the back surgery, And then the idea is just like we're all on the same page. The benefit is we're in our lanes and we kind of go down that rabbit hole. But it's to share our life's journey, like your 4 to 5 years of, entrenching yourself with all this nutrition information. I'm the same thing with movement and mechanics. And so all I did was just assess his mechanics for squat and his upper body. And then the whole intent was to share with him so he understood what to work on and how to apply it to his daily routine. It wasn't just like, hey, come here and I'm gonna give you a program, you're going to follow it. And then so just like even the kickbacks and the bird pickers that he does daily, I was like, well, shoot, and you hike a lot, so let's work on those things and just kind of fine tune it.
Yeah, trying to make
I was doing them, but I wasn't doing them. What's amazing is I was doing them and it's helped me a ton, but I wasn't doing them optimally, right? And now that I'm doing them, I got myself up to I was doing 20 bird pickers on each side, and now I'm back down to 10. Yeah. Because I'm doing them differently now, right?
It's good effort. That's where you get a coach.
And it's all and what's interesting is I never engage your core, right? But I never heard like the whole bleak thing he took me through. I was like, oh wow, that makes a huge difference. And on the upper body stuff, actually, thinking about firing the pecs when I'm doing a row, I'm like, oh, well, I mean, it was counterintuitive to my brain at first. And then, when I actually applied it in the gym, so the next day after I saw you, I did a leg day, and then the day after I did upper body, right? And then it was so when I did upper body, it was so that was on what, I want to say that was Friday I did that. And then, so Saturday morning I woke up, and I'm feeling all these little muscles in my back, and I'm like, what is that?
Same routine, right? That you've been doing.
Yeah, same routine I've been doing.
It's exactly it.
It was just felt totally different.
I love Robin Bennett's because the the way she
Who's
describes
Robin
it.
Bennett? Robin
Sorry,
Koenig?
gosh, she's gonna kill me for that. Robin Koenig, our last podcast guest, but it was you did exactly what she said. You went to Ian to go from dysfunction to function.
Right.
Kickbacks, bird pickers, just whatever.
His dysfunction wasn't that bad.
It wasn't even that bad, but he got you to function. But
Right.
now it's like there's more. It's like now it's like let's become optimal,
Right.
optimized.
It's perfect.
So that's exactly what you went through with her whole.
And that's
kind of
where I was
process.
trying to get at earlier with he's had members with success with Whole30, paleo, whatever, and they're like, I'm clean eating now. They could still talk to someone like you and go,
Right.
oh shit, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, and get more optimal.
Well, on all these diets, I mean, if someone's eating a
That's
paleo
so
diet,
true,
they're
too.
truly eating a paleo diet, they're doing a pretty good job. If they're truly eating a paleo diet, and by
See,
truly, I mean you've read the book.
Yeah.
You've read the paleo book because I have a lot of friends that, oh yeah, I'm doing paleo right now. And then you go out to eat and you're like, so why are you eating that steak? Well, it's paleo. No, it's not.
It's caveman.
No, it's not. Like if you read the
What do
paleo
you
book,
mean? It's
you
steak.
would know that.
What do you mean
that-
it's steak? It's not.
I mean, because
paleo?
in the paleo book they go over that your meat, your whatever you eat needs to have eaten what Mother Nature intended it to eat. Right? You can't eat industrialized meats.
Right.
You have to eat
So if you don't know,
grass-fed, grass-finished, pasture-raised, those types of meats, right? And yeah, a lot of people they'll just go look at the rules rather than look at the why.
That's exactly what we're talking about for the last 15.
parallels. Those paleo steak eaters are doing 20 bird pickers.
They're doing
wrong.
they're doing a powerlifting program.
I would take you doing the bird pickers over the guy sitting all the time. You would take the paleo guy eating a steak over Jack in the Box.
But here's where the
Yeah.
coaching is necessary. Here's where the add value is and why you need it.
But the good news is the guy that's doing paleo wrong at least is already kind of in the right mindset.
Exactly.
They're already trying to do something to improve themselves. So giving them that extra education is huge. They've got a lot less distance to come. So even like on my journey, it wasn't like, and this is what I try to tell people, like you don't have to change it all at one time.
No.
Make a lifestyle change. Making a lifestyle change to a healthy lifestyle is about making a bunch of little lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
Right? And it's about changing a bunch of little habits. So maybe like we start people off with really just trying to get more vegetables and fruits in their bodies.
Yeah, we only juice once
know
a
what I
week
mean?
now. We used to do it
Yeah.
like 3 to 5 times with my mom. In our family now, we try to just juice once a week. But that's a habit now we have. So at least we get all our root veggies, stuff like that. So it's kind of like you have to just try it. And we tried it, and we know that juicing is good for you, but we're not going to do it every day because it's time and energy and cost. So we just at least have it once a week.
Yeah,
I scored alignment in my Corona.
You don't need to eat the same fruits and vegetables every day. That's the thing. That's part of
2 lumps.
I try to, and that's another way of saving money on a budget is eat what's in season. Like even at Costco.
Eat what's on sale.
There's time exactly. That's what's in season. So you go to Costco and the strawberries are a great example, right? Or any of the berries, right? In the wintertime, they're like almost $7 or $8 for that container.
Right.
I was just there the other day. They were $2.99. They're in season.
Yeah.
There's an abundance of them, so they're cheaper right now. Buy them and eat them there. Or if you really want to save them for later, freeze them.
Yeah.
Smart.
So there's 2 things where I think you need for like to when you need help. Like you need a health coach, let's say. I think one is when you have tried everything and things just aren't working. And they probably have tried everything, so there's probably something missing that you're not seeing. So same thing with like movement, right? It's like you have tried everything, right? And then your kind of knee still hurts. It's like that's kind of when we talk about we want to see you then. But you kind of have to have that, like you have to start first to kind of get onto the right path or the right mindset to want to change,
Right. Yeah. So I get 2 types of clients. One is the type that they're already on the road, and they see my advertisement or something and they're interested and they want to look at because we advertise it's a lifetime thing, and it's getting healthy from the inside out, and that resonates with them with whatever they've been doing, because we actually online target people that are on doing Weight Watchers and all these other things online, which is some cool stuff you can do on Facebook. But and then the other type, they're desperate. I mean, they're desperate. They're sick. They, my first client I ever had, I started out, it was my previous company where I was just doing coaching one-on-one, right, before I built the online thing. my first client, she was a mess. She had depression, anxiety. She had 2 little girls. She could barely even get out and take to the park or do anything. She was like homebound almost, right? And literally within like a month of changing what she ate and what she put in her body, which is amazing. She had a husband that was a vegetarian that ate organic, right? And here she was with like her own little area that had Doritos and all the other crap. She grew up, her mom had died when she was young, and her dad fed her nothing but Doritos and Pepsi as a child. That was her meals, right? And so she changed her diet, and within a month she had reduced most of her medication, came off of a lot of her mental stuff, right? A lot of her stuff for depression and all that stuff with the help of her doctor. And she had dropped like 30 pounds, and she was out walking, not only just walk, she didn't even think she'd go for walks, she was going to fitness classes, right? And it's like her whole life turned around. And it's amazing, you just change a few things in your diet, you know. I mean, you just quit eating junk food and start and replace it with whole foods. You just change that one thing, and things start to come together. And what people will, you know, some of the things I get from people that are kind of on the naysayer side is like, well, I already feel good, you know, and I already feel good. Well, but what would it feel like to feel great? You know, like are you okay just being average? I don't want to be average in my life, my work, my fitness level, any of it. I don't want to be average. You know what I mean? Like I've got a few extra pounds on right now because I'm still recovering from really the back thing. Like I'm just now getting back to being able to do what I normally do. You know what I mean? And just like a lot of the people that I coach out there, my biggest struggle, I know that if I don't eat after dinner, if I intermittently fast from dinner to morning the next day, I will lose like a pound every couple days. You know what I mean? I just know my body. I know it works that way. But you know what the hardest thing for me to do throughout the day? I can eat good all day long, eat great all day long. And not that I eat a bad snack, but you know, some celery with a big thing of almond butter, it just messes up my fasting, and you know, I stay the same then. You know what I mean? So it's all about, you know, you gotta push forward and make and you know, there is a little bit of discipline and there is some willpower, and even me, the guy that's the health coach, struggles with my willpower sometimes.
That's like you're talking about with that lady with 2 kids, but that's where I think everyone knows they need to eat healthy, but that's the catalyst, right? You need kind of professional help to get you on the right path. So
totally. So how do people take the next step to get to the Optimal Lives program? Like, what do they do? Reach out?
What's the first steps to? The
first steps, so optimallives.com, it's got 1 L in the middle. So you can go on there, you can ping me, my email is Darel at optimallives.com.
Yeah, we'll tag that later.
Yeah, I can tag that later. And then you know, check out the programs. There's a free course that explains really what the program's all about. It gives you some really good nuggets. And actually, what's interesting is I've got a free e-guide as well that is essentially the outline for what people do in our 90-day program. So you can get all of that for free, and if you think you can go do it all, and you can look at my resources and everything that I've listened to, the information's all there for you for free. If you want my take on everything, the consolidated knowledge, then we've got the 90-day program, and we've got a gold program that gives you access to all of our courses, and gives you access to a Facebook community as well. So you kind of get that, you can actually get a mentor in the Facebook community and all that stuff, and you can join up with friends and do it together. And then there's the Platinum program, which gives you access twice a week to a 1-hour group coaching session, which I guide. So it's like a step up. And what I want to do is make it as inexpensive as possible for people to get in and do it. And then people that need a little extra push, a little extra help, have that. And then I have a diamond program where you actually get me one-on-one coaching. I can only handle so many of those clients at a time.
Yeah, we know how that is.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it is rather expensive, but for people that really, really want that like one-on-one, you know, you get to meet with me each week for the 90 days, then there's that out there as well. So and that one's not always available. Depends on my client load. So sometimes I have to shut that one off. But
cool. Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll tag in the description of this podcast, we'll tag your email, so maybe get you some inquiries over there.
Yeah.
And then definitely list the website. And then we'll tag your social media page for sure as well.
Okay.
What is that one again?
Optimallives.com, and then on Facebook it's just Optimal Lives.
And Instagram
is optimal_lives.
Sweet. Awesome. Anything else?
No, that was good.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys. This was fun, and I know we'll continue the discussions offline.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because that's the whole thing. Going back to it all, what is our why? What is our goal with all this? Is to share knowledge. So we just like to stay in our lanes, but also network with people that have more knowledge in their expertise. So if you guys have nutrition questions, hit up Darel.
Yep, and we're always talking part 2s eventually.
Yeah, because we could talk anxiety, we could talk,
Yeah, we need to delve into performance or anxiety.
Yeah, the anxiety and the kind of getting your head right. I mean, that's especially if people that are going through chronic issues. I mean, I can't tell you how debilitating my anxiety. I can tell you how debilitating it was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like not able to function till noon every day. Bad.
Yeah.
Like.
You heard our anxiety episode.
Yeah,
quoting
I
a few
did.
things.
I did. You guys had the anxiety attacks, and I got beyond that with the full blown panic, like shutdown attacks, right?
Yeah.
And like multiple trips to the emergency room. Not like, I mean, I can't imagine the tens of thousands of dollars of tests that my insurance company paid for.
Right.
Like literally, and then all of a sudden, this one doctor gives me a Xanax when I went to a different ER. Gives me a Xanax, and like in 15 minutes, I'm like, well, I feel good. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
Like all of it's gone. Like all the chest pain's gone. All the and here I was. I had heart issues at the time. I was like freaking out.
Yeah. Everybody that gets good success in nutrition, another side effect is like no more eczema, and they're like, oh, what was I allergic to, or all allergies, skin.
So we go into all that in my courses. I mean, there's a healthy skin course, talks all about the skin, great for teenagers, right? I mean, I've got a 13-year-old right now that's like, it's his nose. I'm like, dude, what are you eating?
Yeah.
What do you eat when you're not at home?
Yeah, we go through that too.
Yeah.
Dude, on and on. But yeah, follow us. You'll get more content.
Yep.
Thanks for coming, man.
All right, thanks guys. Appreciate it.